For a long time I've been looking for ways to make drums that I actually liked, and it has been a very difficult journey. One thing that I found out very early is that trying to replicate acoustic drums is impossible. If you want acoustic drums, then hire a drummer and record acoustic drums. Or like record one drum at the time and find out a way that works. Recently I found this very extremely nice thing, which is that you can slice samples into different hits. By playing around with that, I figured out that the big secret to making drums that I liked was that I had to begin with the hi-hat. So this is one of my approaches, so let's try. So the first step is to record some sounds. So that was the first. And then the last. So we are gonna right click on each of the sounds, press slice to new MIDI track. I use built-in zero velocity because that makes it so that each hit isn't a loop, but it's only a one shot. Now we have 86 hits and let's try to listen. Let's do it again. So built-in zero velocity. And the last. One thing that we can do to manipulate these sounds to make them more percussive when they have notes like these have is to turn the sustain knob down to 0 and then start to adjust how long the hit should last. What sustain and decay means is that when the sample reaches full volume, then how long does it take to fall down to the sustain level? So when we set sustain level to 0, then decay is about how long it takes to go from 100 to 0. And that's why we can adjust how long the hit should last. So if I turn sustain up to 0, then decay doesn't do anything, because decay is simply how long it takes to go from 100% to sustain level, and 0 dB is 100%. Another thing that you could also do is to add an EQ and simply make a high cut so it doesn't take too much space. So we have decided on a pattern, and then the next thing is to make a clip and then go to Groove. I press on the Groove here, which loads the core library Swing and Groove, and I go to Swing to try to figure out how I want the swing to be. And maybe it should only be an 8th swing. I will select the 16-15 swing, and I simply just double click it. So now I start note by note, hit by hit, and I listen to everything. I like this the most. And I press Ctrl D to make a new hit. Oh. So now I made one rhythm, and of course you should make multiple rhythms to really like explore what you can do. But I will do this with the 2 other sounds. So again, I will go and figure out which kind of groove it should be. And I will do some exaggerated swing. And again, I will go and adjust these, so sustain 0, and also add an EQ. And turn it all up. I think this sounds cool. And then the last, maybe I will just do this straight. Let's try and see what happens. And again, I will go and add an EQ, and I will sustain 0. And that was a bit funny actually. Yeah. Remember to really like try out all of the different sounds. If I wasn't making a video, I would spend much more time and really like try to experiment to learn what these sounds are capable of doing. I'm gonna use an 808 kit for my snare drum and my kick drum. And I will start with making a loop for the percussion. When I'm going to add a snare drum and a bass drum, then I'm simply gonna add one hit at a time. I have 2 different approaches. Either I can make the bass drum first, or I can do the bass drum and snare drum at the same time. Let's start with only making the bass drum. And how I do is like, I was just playing it, and then I was following the cursor, and I was like, bam. And then I watched that I wanted another hit here. So, bam, 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 bam. Bam, bam, down. Boom, 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 boom. One thing I like to do is to EQ and remove the really like sub bass from the snare, from the bass drum, because the sub in the bass drum really destroys the energy, I think. Okay, so let's try to add the snare drum. And I will add it at the first hit, and then I will move it around. I would never have thought of doing this if I wasn't just trying it out, because I told myself to try all options out. So the next. Too obvious. I like that, but let's try to have a break. I'll turn up the like that. Let's do one more example. So I'm gonna make it for the hands. And I will go and select the same groove as I used in the hands loop. So 1655. And I will do it snare drum and bass drum at the same time. And I will just try out different options. I really like that one. I will stick with this. And always try to leave some space. I'm not good at that, but I'm trying to practice. And again, I will duplicate the loop and change the last kick drum. One thing I would like to do is to go and sidechain the percussion hands hi-hat things. So I use the normal compressor and I sidechain it to only the bass drum. So I go to the sidechain selection and then I select 808 kit and kick, and then I simply let's turn this up. It just makes it kind of play better together. It's kind of glues it together. Another thing we could do is to group the rhythm selection and simply add the glue compressor. And I have it dialed in to 10, 0.1 and ratio 8. Just gives it some more kick. The sounds that you're recording to use as a hi-hat doesn't need to be good. I made this beat only using the microphone in my laptop. And I'm very happy about it. Try to make your own grooves using sliced hi-hat sounds. Try to record as many different things that you can come up with, and in that way create your own unique ways of doing drums. When you're making the hits, then really try as many different sounds and placements. Simply listen to the hit in all different possible options. Of course, there is a limit to how patient you are, but really try to practice being patient. It pays off in the end, I promise you. And then at last, use different grooves, even in the same BPM, to explore what it can be. I hope to have inspired you to make your own beats. And if you like this video, then please hit the thumbs up button and consider to subscribe to my channel. It would truly make me happy. Enjoy. I can't move, I can't think, I can't sing.